Hey and welcome to this harmonic analysis of Dizzy Gillespie's A Night in Tunisia. So here's the chart on the screen, and as ever with my lessons, red means out of key, blue means in key. So what key are we in? The key signature's got one flat. Let's reference the circle of this. One flat is the key of F. Now, if you look through the chords in this tune, F's only present once, but D minor is present a lot. Look at that A section, it goes back to a D minor. And D minor is the relative minor of F. So we're in the key of D minor. What chords would we get in that key? Well, we'd get chord 1, D minor 7, chord 2, E minor 7 flat 5, chord 3, F major 7, chord 4, G minor 7, chord 5 is likely to be A7, even though technically the scale would mean an A minor 7, but A7 would be chord 5, chord 6 would be B flat major 7, chord 7 would be C7. So let's look at this A section. We go E flat, so out of key, to chord 1, D minor 7. We'll explain the E flat in a second. We do that 3 times. And then we go E minor 7 flat 5, chord 2, A7 chord 5, D minor chord 1. So it's just that E flat 7 we need to try to explain. Now if you look at it on the sheet, I've labelled it as the flat 2 7. And I've written underneath it tritone sub of A7. So every dominant chord has a hip substitution called the tritone. So if you take an A7 chord like this, the tritone of that chord can be found like this. If you've got the A on the E string there, then go a string down and a fret higher, get that interval, the devil's interval, the tritone interval, the flat 5 there. Build a dominant chord off that new note, which is an E flat, and you can play E flat 7 instead of A7. So say if we had a 2-5-1 in key of D major, you could go E minor 7, E flat 7, D major. Now that E flat 7 is functioning as a substitute, like a more interesting way of getting to D rather than the A7, which would sound like. But with the tritone it becomes, has a fall and a nice sort of move to that D. So this E flat 7 is a tritone sub. So really it's just taking on the role of the A7. So this could easily have been A7 to D minor. Doesn't sound as cool though as starting on this tritone gives this song this kind of, I think, unstable feel in that section. This kind of in the way they play it with all that sort of backing stuff, eerie. It's awesome. It sounds brilliant to my ears. So technically that E flat 7 is a tritone. It's a very common substitution basically of the 5 chord. We then hit the B section where we're going to go A minor 7 flat 5, D7 flat 9 to a G minor 6. Anywhere you get minor 7 flat 5 dominant minor chord and it's moving in fourths like that, that's a minor 2-5-1, a really common musical structure. So this is technically a move to G minor, very briefly. So, and the other thing to say about this B section, it's the identical chords I think to the standard Alone Together from 1932, like exactly the same changes. So maybe they got inspiration from that. But it's quite a cool move going to that A minor 7 flat 5, D7. I've voiced it as a flat 9 because of the melody, and then G minor 6. Back to D7, back to G minor 6. So it's 2, 5, 1, 5, 1. Common thing, make that a minor 7 flat 5. Go to C7, then to F. Now this is again a 2-5. It's moving in fourths. So G minor 7 flat 5 chord 2 in the key of F minor, C7 chord 5 in that key. But instead of going to F minor, we go to F major, which is the relative major of D minor, the overall key of the song. We then work our way back to the A section with a E minor 7 flat 5 A7, which is a 2-5 in D minor, which leads us back. But interesting, you don't get the resolve actually, because it goes E minor 7 flat 5 A7 to the tritone, which is pretty cool. The C section sounds awesome in this tune though. Love that. You don't have to play it with that funky rhythm. You can play it a bit more vanilla wise, but it's how I quite like to do it. Kind of lends itself to it, I think. So we're starting out on chord 2, albeit slightly different voicing of it. And then this is E flat 9, sharp 11. Regardless of how it's voiced, this is the tritone again, flat 2, 7. We then get chord 1, D minus 7. And then we get an out of key chord, G9. The 4 chord in this key was G minor, so this is interesting. Then we get chord 4 as a minor, albeit as a minor major 7 with the major 7 in the bass. And then G minor 9 with the 7th in the bass. And then this next chord's a tritone. This is a G flat 7, albeit with a sharp 9 on the top. Now, well, the whole point of this little section for me is to get to F, that chord there. And what is G flat 7 in relation to F? Well, it's a tritone sub of its dominant, which is C7. There's that G flat, there's C, it's that relationship again. So this could easily have gone, let's go from the G9 sharp 11. Could have gone C7 to F major, but I think it sounds cooler with that tritone in there. We land on F major, so we've landed on the relative major of D minor. For the lead break, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now some people just leave the whole 4 bars of the lead break completely clear. If you've got a soloist like Charlie Parker you're playing with, great. If not, I suggest you play these E minor 7 flat 5, A7 as, just markers as to where the beat is, and also to take you back to the A section. This has got to be one of my favourite Latin jazz standards. I think the thing that really appeals to me about this tune is the different sections to it. You get some jazz standards where you listen to a band playing it, you can be thinking about, oh, where are they in winter form? It just kind of goes on a bit sometimes, but you've got the Latin, the swing, the C section, the lead break. It's just got lots of cool different sections to it, which breaks it up and makes it really interesting and fun to play over too. If you want to learn a couple other key sort of Latin jazz standards, I'll put 2 links on the screen to my lessons on Blue Bossa and Black Orpheus. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new here, my name's Andy and I do jazz guitar lessons every Saturday and Wednesday. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please consider subscribing if you're new. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment if you've got a question. Until next time, you guys take care.